friends to settle in. Okay. I just want to test the sound. So, dear friends, as you are seated, and may I suggest that when we hear my sister inviting the sound of the bell to sound, we practice deep listening. Let us sit comfortably and we come back to the awareness of our breathing and allow our mind to dwell peacefully on our breathing and also on the sound of the bells all the way through, from the moment it starts sounding, then vibrating and fading away and end, then continued by another sound, the bell. We practice stopping. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. And allow our mind to become interested in listening to the sound of the bell and listening to ourselves, to our body, to our feelings. We take our time to enjoy listening. Dear respected teacher Thầy, dear brothers and sisters, dear friends. First, I'd like to welcome our friends who come to the monastery for the Day of Mindfulness. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. And so today is the 10th of December. And yeah, recently we have heard in our community that we remind one another that, hey, we are halfway through our Ren's retreat. And the second half will go very fast because shortly we will have all the celebrations like Christmas and comes the holiday retreat. right after the holiday retreat, we prepare to end the winter retreat. So it is a good chance for us to be reminded about how fast time passes by, so that we can uh, uh, reflect more on what we've been doing. So I haven't had a topic for my talk yet, so I leave this up to Ken Lee as a gift before he leaves. um, um, so I'd like to present this talk today as an invitation to everybody to have some midterm review. Mm. Uh, so for those of us who have been practicing with the Sangha here, we check in with ourselves. Uh, how's everything going so far? Yeah. And think about the aspirations that we made at the beginning of the retreat. Have we realized many of them? And also to expand to our friends who come here to join us for the Day of Mindfulness. Like when we look back into our daily life, the aspirations, the intention that we set for our life, yeah, are we doing what we want to do the most? Are we happy and content? Is there anything that we need more effort to put in order to improve? Because the year 2023 is also coming to an end soon. And it's also time for us to reflect, to make New Year's resolution or New Year aspiration. Right? So it's always helpful to be reminded and revisit our intention and our aspirations. And I'd like to write on the board this word that I recently learned and find so interested. So we know that our teacher Thai, he encouraged us to always start our meditation practice with the practice of cultivating peace and joy. Yeah, I remember, like I keep it to my heart. Like before I start my sitting meditation, my first focus is how to cultivate the joyful breath, so I can feel inspired, so that I can continue to stay focused on my meditation practice. And it is the word inspiration that I'd like to invite you to explore with me, especially to my sisters in Clarity Hamlet. The sisters like learning English. So with this, I'd like to inspire some joy in learning English in the sisters. The word inspiration. We need inspiration, right? Yeah, in order to have joy, in order to have energy, to do things in our life. Inspiration. And so when we have inspiration, then we are eager to make aspirations. At the beginning of the retreat, we are so inspired by the collective energy of practice. We know that, but other people, they have a lot of aspiration, what they want to do. So we also have aspiration. But what I want to inspire the sister is that there is another meaning in this word. So inspiration it is the first meaning. All we know is that the state of being inspired, right? But then the second meaning of inspiration is breathing in. Thank you, brother. You know, because you are so fluent in English. So, Sister Tháng Tám, the second meaning of inspiration is in breath, inhalation, breathing in. So it's time for you to learn. Yeah, in breath, breathing in. So breathing in, I aspire to cultivate joy and happiness, right? But we know, because no matter how strong our aspirations are, so, like along the way, there must be something that sneak in, and our aspiration somehow has died down, and to the point that it may go to expiration. Expiration. So when you like expiration date, coming to an end of something, yeah, like the bread is expired, it's not good, right? But the second meaning of expiration, Sister Tháng Tám, can you guess? This is breathing in, and this means, Sister Túc Nghiêm, can you guess? Breathing out. Yeah, this is breathing out, exhalation. So this is in breath. So this is also how we practice in our meditation. When we breathe in, yeah, first we need to remember to give inspiration, to give rise to aspiration, so that we can make the practice enjoyable. Yeah. But but if we are not very careful in cultivating, in maintaining the inspiration and aspiration, then chances is that we will encounter expiration. Yeah. And is it the end of the world? Because expiration is the coming to the end of something. As a practitioner, we need to do something, right? We need to to begin anew. We need to renew. We need to refresh the practice in order to so we need to cultivate back the aspiration, to bring back inspiration, right? So I call innovation. So we create new method. We become creative in our practice to refresh, to renew ourselves. So innovation. It's very important that we need creativity in our practice, yeah, to uh, to keep our practice alive, to keep our um, inspiration alive. Mm. So, because sometimes we may hear some friends who ask, with all that is going on in the world, how can I stay engaged in the practice but not feeling overwhelmed? Mhm. Yeah, sometimes they try so hard to practice, but something still there, and they cannot feel. They cannot touch peace, so they feel overwhelmed. Mm. And as the year is coming to an end, and many of us um, go back to reflect on ourselves, on what we have done the past year. And in the monastery, the Rains retreat is also the season for us to practice shining light. Mm. a time for us to also reflect back. Many sisters, they even keep the Shining Light letter from previous years, and before the Shining Light session of this year, they take the time to read again the Shining Light letters from the previous year and reflect back, like whether they have transformed at all. So when we do so, somehow we may encounter some kind of fear of failure. Because there's some weaknesses, shortcomings in us that we still fear to face, fear of facing. So the question is that how can I move past the fear of failure, of coming back to the same old self? Now we were afraid of coming back to see the same old version of ourselves, coming back to the same old way of being who I was in the past. And somehow we feel like we are um, the the biggest roadblock to our transformation. So it is very important for us to remind one another that this is like the cycle. Yeah, maybe in the beginning we are so enthusiastic, we are so eager to have inspiration, and we have a lot of aspiration. But then if we are not careful to take care, then the negativity, when it becomes too overwhelming, then we face expiration. Our aspiration expires, and we remind ourselves that okay, yeah, there's still hope. Yeah, we can think about the new way, the new method to refresh. Yeah. So inspiration. When we have inspiration in our heart, we can touch faith, diligence, and what else can you remember? Can you guess what I'm going to write? The 5 powers. Mindfulness, yes. Concentration and insight. Yeah. So these are the 5 powers. We really need energy in order to do things, right? So in the meditation, in the practice, these are the 5 powers, the 5 kinds of energy, the 5 sources of energy that we need to cultivate: faith, diligence, mindfulness, concentration, and insight. And we all know these 3 trio, the triple training, mindfulness, concentration, insight, they are always together. This cannot be without the other. Yeah, it's like if you have a chance to cook on the same team with Brother Đạo Phương or Brother Minh Niệm, you know their signature pasta. So mindfulness, concentration, and insight, they are so closely together, like the mayonnaise, the vegan mayonnaise, and the sun-dried tomato, and the olive that they put in. Yeah. So concentration, the practice, which practice that can help us strengthen concentration is this stopping. Stopping. When we practice mindfulness, we are encouraged to practice samatha, stopping, and then vipassana, looking deeply. So practicing stopping is to help us to just take good care, of our emotions, our feelings, so that we are not carried away. so that there can be some clarity, some peace of mind in order for us to see what we can do, what we should do, and what we should not do. Practicing stopping and looking deeply is to uh, to help us touch insight. And insight should be in line with right view. So this is to help us to review the practice, the teachings of the Buddha. Insight goes along with right view. Right view. And right view, we know the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view goes along with right thinking and right action. And right action. Yeah. Uh, without right view, whatever we speak, whatever we do, whatever we think may bring about pain and suffering to ourselves and to others. So, right view, right thinking, right action is very important for us to know. And from here, we see that it is there is a very thin line between the Noble Eightfold Path and the ignoble Eightfold Path. It is very thin. If we are not mindful enough, yeah. Um, suppose that a young lady who has not practiced mindfulness yet, right? And she is so sad. So she may sing like this is the song that I just remember. I don't know whether you know this song. She, so this is like to describe her status. So because she is sad, so she see everything like the same way, and she asks, "Why does the sun go on shining? Why does the sea rush to shore?" So those phenomena, natural phenomena, is so uh, beautiful, but she cannot touch the beauty. But she asks such question. Mm. So why everything the same, the way as they was? Mm. Because the one that she loved say goodbye to her. Yeah, that is what it was said in the song. But as someone who knows the practice, they sing the way they view things differently. They sing like the sun that shines on my face and on my eyes. The sun, it shines in my heart. And I feel that there's the home for everyone in my heart. So you see, it's different the way people look into things, whether they have the right view or not. And it's thanks to the practice of right mindfulness. Um, take another example. Like when we talk about self-care, right? These days, when we practice mindfulness, we talk a lot about self-care, but we need to be careful, yeah, in terms of the thin line between one is the noble eightfold path and the other one is ignoble. So how to practice self-care so that we don't go to the direction of being too selfish, too self-centered. We put me, mine, I first. Mm. And how to balance the self-care with the care for others, especially when we live in a community. Mm. Yeah. So it's related to the view that we hold on to. Today, I'd like to touch a little bit on faith. Faith. We have other nuances regarding faith, right? Like faith, if we have faith in the practice, that it is a strong, great trust, a strong belief. And we can also have confidence, right? Confidence. Trust, confidence, belief. Yeah. So when we have inspiration and trust or confidence or belief can be strong and give us energy. And if like go to the opposite, like when our aspiration has died down and we don't have enough joyful energy, so we may encounter doubt. We may encounter doubt in the practice. Distrust. From doubt, we may have other nuances like distrust, lack of trust. So coming back to the thin line between one is the noble eightfold path with the other is the ignoble. So I want to ask whether there's a kind of faith that does not help regarding to the view. We're talking about the view. Like if someone is holding on too strongly to their view, that they cannot create openness and spaciousness to experience, especially to open to receive the feedback, the input from others' perspective. So we say that, so I think there's the right faith, the faith that gives us a lot of strong belief, great trust in the practice, and the kind of faith that is called wrong faith, right? So the right faith, it entails openness, humility, courage, and perseverance, right? So if we have right faith and we are persevering, then we can still stick to the practice. Even in the midst of a lot of difficulties and challenges that come along. But thanks to the strong faith we have in the practice, and we have perseverance, so we hold on to the practice, we don't give up. And we have openness in order to seek for advice. We have openness in order to receive input from others people. And we have the humility so that we don't think that I'm always right. Yeah. So that we are not too sure about our view. So humility. Yeah. And wrong faith is when we are too confident. Yeah, we are too confident about what we see in others, what we believe. We cannot give the the space in order to receive others' perspective, especially like those who like um, to help us to change. Mhm. So the question is that how can I balance the faith, the trust I have in the practice or in my relationships with other people, but I still keep openness to some kind of healthy doubts. So, yeah, I want to um, to check whether doubt has any benefit, whether there's some kind of doubt that helps. Healthy doubts versus skeptical doubts. Yeah. If we have skeptical doubts, then we lack of trust, and that leads us to have disappointment, right? Despair. Yeah. If we have a lot of doubt, about what is going on in the world, and we feel so overwhelmed, chances that we also feel despairing. So the healthy doubt is related to the question, are you sure? Yeah, the Buddha advised us to also remember to check with ourselves, are you sure? So that we can be open, not to be too strong in holding to our view. Let us listen to one sound of the bell. So the last Sunday, we had a recitation ceremony. We recited the 14 mindfulness trainings that, or we call the order of interbeing, training for the order of interbeings. So we see that the first 7 trainings of the 14 trainings are about the mind. And today, when I talk about the view, so I see that the trainings that go along with the view is the first training. The first training is about openness. Openness. So we can create spaciousness to experience. The second training is about non-attachment to views. Thầy said that we live in the age of individualism, and so it's so easy that for us to be led to think or to believe that we are right, and that prevents us from open our heart and mind to receive the input, receive to welcome opinions and ideas from other people. So Thầy said that by practicing the second mindfulness training on non-attachment to view is to help us point out that right view, and insight is collective. Like we come together, we share our view, your view and my view, and then we will come to the closer, um, so that when we make a decision, we can arrive closer to the truth. We don't let like one person's view that like impose on other views. And the third training is about freedom of thought, and we practice respecting the right of others to be different. When in the past, when I recite the 14 mindfulness trainings, and when it comes to the question, have we studied, practiced, and observed it during the past month? Somehow I had some complex. Because in the past I would ask myself, what do I do as a monastic OI member? How do I do as a monastic OI practitioner? Because somehow I think like the feeling like con vua thì lại làm vua, con xà ê chùa thì quét lá đa. Because we were, so literally it means if you were born to be the son of a king, then there's a possibility that in the future you will become a king. And if you were born to be the son of the temple keeper, then your job is like to sweep the fallen leaves on the temple grounds, something like that. Because I think that we are like monastic disciples of Thầy, and Thầy is like the founder, the master of all of the training. So when it comes to the right time, he would just transmit the precept, the trainings to us, without us putting too much effort into practicing. So in the past, I would have some kind of complex that I don't have to do anything much. I still receive the training. Whereas, especially our OI lay members out there, they are so engaged in practicing these 14 trainings. They are very active in engaging in like addressing social issues, social topics. But then one day when I listened to Thay's Dharma talk, he said that, oh, you may think that when you live in a monastery as a monastic, and you don't do much, when out there are a lot of things going on, and you feel like helplessness because you cannot do much to help. But don't worry, you can just like try your best to practice in order to transform your suffering, and that's good enough. And that somehow helped me to relax a little bit my complex of what am I doing, how do I do, what can I do as monastic OI. And sometimes I even ask myself, am I in the zone of complacency? I'm so satisfied with my life here, so peaceful. And how do I show up to help? But then when I look into our monastic sangha, I feel so grateful that there are also monastic activists in the community. They are so engaged and proactive in creating retreats. So now I know that, it is so beneficial that when we open and we lead retreats for people to come and they learn the right practice so that they can bring in the practice to their daily life to become more peaceful, more happy. And we are we are really helping the society. Mm. And we open retreats for the young people, for children and teens, and to help them know the practice at the young age, and that is very helpful. Mm. So I think to myself, okay, if there are those of us in the community who serve as like the frontline heroes, then I can be willing to serve as the little girl at the back end. Yeah, at least if I cannot do like them, at least I can in my capacity, what I can do to support, or try not to like hold on too tightly onto my views and like to create cause discord in the sangha. After this is like my my intention living in the sangha. Mm. And and when I look into the OI communities worldwide, I feel also so grateful to see the diversity of our OI member. It is like one source, but there are so many streams. Earth Holder Sangha who uh, um, protect and promote environment, and there are Arise Sangha focusing on social justice and so on. I feel so grateful. Yeah. Mm. So when we look into each training, whether it is the 14 mindfulness trainings or the 5 mindfulness trainings, we can see is like there's the formula. It always starts with awareness of suffering. And then I aspire, I am committed, or I vow. Yeah? So from awareness, it gives rise to aspiration, right? And then I will do, I will not do. So it is about action taking, right? So we see it's very clear in each mindfulness training: awareness, aspiration, and action. But coming back to the practice of stopping to strengthen the energy of concentration, and also in line with right view, sometimes it is helpful to also practice the non-action action. Sometimes we take action, but sometimes it is helpful to just practice stopping. Uh, the practice of non-action taking, especially when we 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 think that I have this view and I believe that this view is right. It's called like the self-righteousness, right? Yeah, self-righteousness. And I want to protect. Yeah, I want to protect the integrity. I want to prevent the damage in the community. And if our view is driven by anxiety, fear, or ego, then the action we take would not help. Sometimes it's helpful just to stop in order to come back to ourselves and take care of our emotion. And so the practice of letting go, or the practice of non-expectation, is another way to practice stopping. And how to share our views so that it make it easy for others to make it easy for us and also make it easy for others to receive. Or in other words, let's put it into this question: how to hold on to our view so that that view can guide us, but not lead us to close ourselves off to others. Whether our view is in harmony with others' views, whether our view is in harmony with the collective insight, or our view is more toward self-righteousness. I'm so inspired by like when we had a chance to be around Thầy, our teacher, and just by observing how the way he share, he speaks with his disciples, we can learn a lot. So we know that when he was still healthy and active, he would be the mastermind of everything. Yeah, he would give a lot of idea, initiative, and it would encourage the brother and sister to carry out. But you know, he would be so skillful. He would say something like, "Okay, con làm cái này cho thầy. Con cứ làm người anh trai tiền tuyến. Con làm cái chuyện khó đi, xong rồi để cho thầy sẽ là người em nhỏ hậu phương. Thầy sẽ làm gì được thầy giúp." He would say something like that. So he would be the mastermind of many things. Yeah, but he would be so skillful in encouraging the brothers and sisters to implement his initiative by saying, "Okay, my dear child, my dear children, be the frontline heroes, doing all the hard work, and let thầy be the little girl serving at the back end. Yeah, thầy would do his best to support you." So I learned that, especially in the position of the elder in the Sangha, or the position of the teacher, we don't have to impose our view on other people. There must be a better way. Like, I learned that his way is to water the good seeds. He watered the good seeds in his disciples and his students so that they feel inspired. He inspired hope and confidence in his students to bloom as a flower, and then to water the good seeds and to inspire. So those two traits from Thầy that I would like to learn when I share my point of view, rather than to go to the direction of like imposing. The other day, when I had a chance to sit with my younger sister, and she shared with me how she was feeling when I was telling her to do this. And I realized that, oh, I was imposing. Yeah. And because maybe it's true that sometimes I just want to get things done quickly. So I tend to be quite short and straightforward, and maybe imposing. And sometimes I sense that my sister's reaction. So imposing views and opposing views, maybe they have something related. Because I'm imposing my views on my sister and they don't feel comfortable. Especially we are Thai students and we learn about the training, about respecting other people's right to be different, right? So when they sense that, oh, the sister is imposing, then with that reaction, it causes me to feel that, oh, this is opposing, because they have different idea. And so I sense the sister, the younger sister, is having the opposing idea. And if I am not careful to stop, to take care of the perception, then the tension between the two sisters just escalate. I'm so lucky that that day I was spacious enough to take in my sister's perspective. So I take it as a very constructive shining light, kind of private shining light for me. So can we listen to one sound of the bell before we conclude? So when we look at the um, the drawing, inspiration, aspiration, expiration, innovation, we remind ourselves that the work of practice never ends. The work of transformation never ends. And it is never too late to start all over again, even if sometimes we encounter difficulties. We inspire ourselves the faith in the practice, the faith that entails openness, humility, courage, so that we can face the vulnerability in ourselves. We can face conflicts in ourselves and conflicts in the relationship with other people, and also face our own complexes, so that we keep ourselves persevering to get down to the practice. Yeah, maybe sometime we lack energy of faith, we lack energy of diligence, but then we can start over again to renovate, to renew, to refresh our practice, so that we can bring back resilience. We can bring back aspiration. We don't sink too long into the setbacks. We sink in setbacks is to sink in expiration. But then with the inspiration, we breathe in, we regain resilience. And we remind ourselves about the very thin line between the Noble Eightfold Path and the ignoble Eightfold Path. If we are not careful, if we are not mindful enough, then it can lead us either, like even if we have a good intention, right? If we are not careful, if we are not mindful, then some negativity can sneak in. And if we allowed the inspiration, the faith to get lost, then we should know that there must be something missing in our cultivation. And we need to start again to rebuild the aspiration. And I'd like to end here with the quote. It's about whether there is a benefit of the doubt. It is fine to have doubt. Do not believe in something just because people think highly of it, or because it has come from tradition, or because it is found in scriptures. Consider whether it goes against your judgment, whether it could cause harm, whether it is condemned by wise people, and above all, whether by putting it into practice, it will bring about harm, destruction, or pain. Anything that you deem beautiful, that accords with your judgment, is appreciated by wise people, and once put into practice will bring about joy and happiness, can be accepted and put into practice. So thank you so much for your support and your listening. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy your day, and also keep yourself open to the question, are you sure? When you are so confident, you're too confident about something or about your view. Thank you.